Entrepreneurs sometimes struggle with the limited liability versus S corporation question. That's unfortunate. The question is often surprisingly easy to answer. Here's the first thing to understand. If someone really has a choice between LLC or S corporation, they can always choose LLC. And the reason is, an S corporation is not a real corporation. It's a tax accounting classification. The tax accounting classification is available to regular corporations, to limited liability companies, and to a handful of other legal entities too. The bottom line though is this, that because an LLC can elect to be treated as an S corporation, if you're faced with the question LLC or S corporation, you can always choose LLC. One other quick point about this is that an LLC that doesn't make an election to be treated as an S corporation is going to be treated as something else. An LLC running a business, for example, would commonly be treated as a sole proprietorship. An important point needs to be made about the LLC versus S corporation question. Probably a better question, maybe the right question to ask, is whether you want to form a new business as a limited liability company or as a regular or traditional corporation. Both limited liability companies and regular corporations can elect to be treated as an S corporation. There are good reasons to use a regular corporation. Probably the best reason is that the stakeholders, people like customers, employees, vendors, maybe outside investors, think the business should be a corporation. And that's something you need to consider. There are people who think that a business name, something like Acme Incorporated, just sounds more professional, sounds more business-like than a firm that's named Acme LLC or Acme Limited Liability Company. That is something you'll want to consider. However, you need to be careful because sometimes choosing a traditional corporation as the business structure or the business entity indicates the entrepreneur lacks sophistication. If you pay careful attention, you'll notice that a lot of large corporations, including Chrysler, the phone company, Microsoft, Amazon.com, are making extensive use now of limited liability companies as the business entity structure that they're employing. There are good reasons to use an LLC instead of a regular corporation, and the first reason we've already hinted at a little bit, which is that an LLC can choose how it wants to be treated for tax purposes. This means that an LLC can often pick the tax accounting treatment that saves its owners the most money. An LLC, for example, can be treated as an S corporation. And so that's the first big benefit of using an LLC, this tax accounting flexibility. There's also a second big benefit of using a limited liability company in many states, and it is simply this. If you own shares of stock in a corporation, outside parties, like somebody suing you, may be able to gain ownership of those shares of stock. But in many states, in most Western states for example, if you own an interest in an LLC, even in a worst case scenario, no outside creditor is going to be able to sue you and gain your membership interest. You'll always retain your membership interest. About the worst thing that can happen is this outside creditor can get a judge to tell the LLC that it shouldn't disperse money to you. It should instead disperse your share of any profits to this creditor. But that difference in sort of the security of your ownership interest really means that LLC interests are much more secure as an investment vehicle or business vehicle.